Welcome to the Milo Sweet Podcast, where you learn to achieve more with less by being resourceful. And watch me occasionally get off topic. Let's get into the show. Hello. How are you guys doing? How are you doing? Happy Saturday. It's Saturday for me. Maybe it's Monday for you. Maybe it's morning. Happy Saturday. I wanted to talk from the heart a bit. I'm kind of tired of following all the rules. And let me explain. Let me put some parameters on that. I am tired of all the lies where you're told a narrative and you believe that narrative, you protect that narrative, and then you realize, oh shoot, that's not true. I mean, if we reflect over the last couple years, there's things you followed and we were instructed to do, or that when we do this, this will get better, or this would be the result, and the result is better than our current state. But how many really feel when it pertains to following the rules that it's actually better? For example, you go to school, you go to college, and who tells you how to pay the debt off, right? Like, you're still in debt. You still have the debt. Maybe you didn't finish school. Maybe you never went to school. But who told you how to pay, which car to get, which car note to get? You're supposed to, get a car, take care of your family, do all these things. And then what? What? For what? What's the benefit? I know this is very vague and this might seem alarming, but if there is an area in your life where you feel like I played the game the way I was supposed to, I listened to what I was supposed to do, and I was told I was going to get the results we agreed upon at the beginning of me agreeing to following the rules or playing the game. And then you get to the end of the game, you win based on what the rules say, but you get nothing. Is there any part of your life where you feel like that? Now, part of it is examining. I'll just say right now, I feel like that. So I'm making this for myself. Most of my podcasts are for myself. I want to tell you they're for you. They're not. They're for me. And maybe that's selfish. Well, it's the Milo Sweet Podcast. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Also, I'm sitting in a squeaky chair, but it's just where I'm at right now. So if it makes a lot of noise, sorry. I'm sure you can get through that. Like, really. All right. Doesn't Apple AirPods have a way to solve that? You just figure that out. I still haven't figured that out, but you can figure it out. I believe in you. So you play all the rules. You play the game by the rules. And then what do you get from this? Now, I'm not upset or unhappy or anything, but what I'm saying is, like, for some people that's like, hey, I'm going to finish school and I'm going to work this job. And then the job, it doesn't work out, or maybe they let you go, or maybe you haven't gotten promoted, or maybe it's that, like, the people are terrible and you're like, okay, I'm stuck. I haven't done what I needed to do to make a pay increase to go somewhere else. I mean, that's one angle. Or maybe you worked the job, you got promoted, you did what you were supposed to do, right? You're sitting at the top. You hate your life. You hate the job. You never see your family. Maybe you are the family guy. You're the family woman. You do all those things. You have nothing left for yourself at the end of it, right? Nothing. Like, to the point where as soon as it's over, you probably just shrivel up and die from exhaustion, right? Or maybe you're losing out on dating. You put the job first, right? You built all the things you were supposed to build, and maybe you have shortened the dating window, right? Or maybe you have put yourself in a position where it's not like the rules are not lining up. Like, I should be attractive to, the people I'm seeking, and nothing, crickets. So something isn't right. Or maybe creatively you follow all the rules. You're like, this is what they said. I'm going to follow this algorithm and do this. And then all of a sudden, it's like, it still doesn't work. And I guess today, and here's the context for this, is that it's your job to be responsible with the information and to comb it over and figure out how to apply it to your life. So I'm giving you where I'm at, but it's your job to critically think about it, to be able to reflect and mull this over. So please don't tell me you did something dumb because I said something, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to go do something dumb. I'm just saying, I'm tired of the rules that don't really work out the way that they told us. I'm tired of that. And I think it would be liberating to play a different game. To talk about things that really need to be talked about. To say no to certain rules that just are dumb. Like, that's a dumb rule. Why would you even make that? Why do I have to follow that rule? This is dumb. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. We can talk about logic, but the way you're getting me to try to follow a rule is illogical. For instance, doctors are supposed to have all this freedom. A good portion of doctors are deeply, deeply in debt to their education and to their lifestyle. They're also supposed to have this huge amount of education, and I'm not shading any doctors. I'm not shading any doctors. I really appreciate doctors. And I'm very grateful for the work that doctors do, but I'm just simply going over the facts. They're too busy sometimes with the way their schedule is by the hospital or facility that they work for. They're too busy to even process the appointment that was given. They have a couple, I just got a notice that said that a 30-minute appointment was going to turn into a 20-minute appointment, and a 20-minute appointment was going to turn into a 15-minute appointment. Or maybe it was a 40-minute into a 30-minute, and then a 20-minute into a 15-minute. Either way, it was what are we going to get done in 15 minutes? And why would I drive 45 minutes for 15 minutes? What are you really going to solve? It's like saying, hey, you know what? All my dates from now on are going to be 15 minutes long. Great. Are they all back to back? If all my doctors could show up, the ones I want to see, and give me a 15-minute appointment back to back, we might be able to get something done because I could ask different, they work on different parts. Sure. Now, going back, that would be helpful. So going back to doctors. So they follow those rules of the time frame. I'm sure they're not sitting at home saying, how can I get more patients in? Yeah, no, I'm sure that's the pressure from the facility. And maybe that's how they come up with a resolution. Then the other part, they don't have enough time to actually look at current research, apply the current research, and feel like there's not going to be a huge risk or liability to applying new research. So some of the recommendations are 5-10 years outdated. I know that there's a new peer-reviewed paper regarding this subject. You haven't seen it. And it's not to say that something's wrong with them because they can't see all the research. But if they're supposed to be better at you than helping, if they're supposed to be better than you than at helping your body, then why doesn't it feel like it sometimes? Right? Why doesn't it feel like it? Why? That to me it's weird. And they're following all the rules. They follow all the rules. They're supposed to have this great lifestyle. They were all on the line for COVID. I'm sure. I wonder actually if you go to med school, do they have pandemic training at hospitals before now? Are the staff trained for a pandemic? Probably. If I could just take a shot in the dark from just what I've seen over the last 2 years, I would say no. But I can stand to be corrected, and I would be highly surprised. However, the point I'm trying to make, what did it benefit you? So it's yeah, I paid all this debt. Then I lived this, for this lifestyle, for me to be, forced to see my patients in a certain way, not even be able to always adequately help them through the denial or refusal of current peer-reviewed information, especially to certain patients that don't fit the norm. That's the other part, because they're data-driven which is important, they will try to force a patient to fit data so they could follow the rules instead of understanding, what does this mean? Where's the curiosity with the patient? Where is the, this is interesting. I'm not sure what's happening here. And this is not all doctors. So if a doctor's listening to this, don't get your panties in a bunch. You know what I'm talking about, okay? You know what I'm talking about. And I'm grateful for you. But this is not the angle I'm coming from. I'm coming from there are rules that have to be followed that don't make sense, and the outcome is not good. And I think at some point we have to say, this is not okay. This is not helpful. And then we as individuals have to decide how we're going to pursue, because discipline is important. Having rules to have order is important. I'm not for disorder or chaos. We see chaos right now. We've seen it over the last. That's not what I'm for. I am for, at times, disruption, for change, sure. For progression, sure. But I'm tired of having to have things look a certain way that's not really true. And it's not like, even if you're resistant, it's just like this pressure that's constantly pushing you there. And if this is not hitting home for you, perhaps this isn't your episode. That's okay. I want to challenge myself, and I would like to challenge others to figure out how to take back some of their decision making, how to take back their critical thinking, how to take back their creativity. Our lives are so rigid, and I love productivity and being efficient and stuff, but it's not at the cost of not enjoying life. It's not at the cost of I want to be a great citizen, all of that, cool. Not at the cost of doing dumb stuff that doesn't make sense. It doesn't even make sense. If you pick up at least 3 books, you're going to realize, oh shoot, this doesn't make sense. At all. It doesn't matter what you want to believe. It just doesn't make sense. It feels good. That's the tricky part. It feels good. Oh, it feels good. That's the right thing, you're supposed to do. But it doesn't make sense. This is the order that's been set out. But is it the right order? Is that really what we're supposed to be doing? Because if it's supposed to, so when I say it feels good, I mean, the perception is that you feel good to not stand out, right? You might feel good to know that you have the approval for following the rules, right? Or that you're perceived a certain way. But inside, deep down, it doesn't really feel that good. You don't really like that person. You know that you're someone else. And yeah, I think do the things you need to do to have good discipline. That's not what I'm saying. This is more of you're not even being true to yourself in what you want to be disciplined about. You're not being true to yourself about what is really important. You follow the plan someone put in front of you. You've never examined the plan. You never examined, hey, is that the right way we should talk to our patients and treat our patients? And then if a patient asks a question, how dare a patient ask a question and want to know something about their own body or present some information or perhaps challenge you in a respectful way? How dare them? So that was this huge monologue. If you weren't following me, that's fine. I'm okay with that. This is where I'm at right now. But here's a couple things that I'm running through of how to apply this in my life. What am I applying first? Breaking the rules, breaking some of these rules, letting myself be creative, questioning more things, and standing up for what I believe is important. And I don't believe you have to, it's like if you say, I want everyone to know I love the color red, that's cool. Nobody cares. That's fine. You can just wear the color red. And I think you could just put your whole face red hair, red lipstick, red everything. Please don't do that. But if you so choose, we will get the point. And I think that's what I think that's what I'm actually saying is for you to do that, right? Is to do that, is to say hey, this is me. And why wouldn't we want to do this? I think society in general has a set of rules, and some of those are for order and for respect and for us how we're going to interact, because in the olden days it was like, I challenge you to a duel and like, yeah, I'm gonna chop your head off or shoot a gun or whatever. I mean, it just got real messy real quick. So it's like, hey, we have some order and disciplines to keep the mess down. And then there's some things that really just choke the hope out of us, choke our ability to be vibrant and to add color to the world and to have an impact. And it is also the fear of what people think of you and what's the perception. And I think we should free ourselves from that. And fail at trying. How dare we fail at trying to be ourselves? Like, how dare we? Like, that's weird. And then we introduce, social media. And I like to say our addictions. We introduce our addictions, and we can be fed our addictions, where it's certain, like, I don't think all knowledge is good. I definitely think we should learn, but you have to rightly divide knowledge. You have to be able to see what is helpful and what's not helpful. So if this podcast isn't helpful for you, you have to be able to see that. That's your job. That is absolutely your job. Maybe you're in a wrong mood or mindset. Like, there's times I listen to stuff and I'm like, not today. This is just not going to work for me today. And I come back and it's a different day, different place, and it can have an impact, a good one. And then there's some things that's just like a no. So I think social media is your ability to, we can connect and we can do all that, cool. But we also can feed our addictions. We can endlessly feed and develop our own insecurities as like monuments to steal our time, to kind of weaponize ourselves. So if you have an issue with food, you can mask it and get an audience and monetize it, all under the guise of healthy eating. You could do that. If you have an issue with self-esteem, you could mask that. If you have an issue just enjoying like your real life, not the social media life, your real life, you could just mask that and you could feed that. If, people love, like, you post videos and you go viral all the time, but you're always high. You can really mask what's going on, right? Or you're like, oh my gosh, how to be productive, how to be efficient, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like, you're so productive, you have anxiety and depression and, whatever follows that. So it's like, that's too far. And so the third thing is we don't talk about real stuff anymore. It's a lot of assumptions. It's a lot of polarizations. Why can't we get in a room with people we don't agree with and hear them out? Or why can't we just like be kind to people we don't agree with? Anyway, like, I was on social media and I was like confused because I haven't been, I don't know if you listen to this your first time hearing my podcast, but I was confused at how angry people were. I'm like, whoa, why are people so angry on social media? Like, I kind of want to just go back to the real world where people like smile and are nice and like, it's different. Just, they were angry about stuff that I'm like, you really angry about that? And I just felt like it was super violent. I was like, whoa, I feel like I need a gun just to get on social media. Not literally, kind of, actually, literally. But yeah, it just was like, whoa, like, I just don't even want to spend that much time being angry. Like, that's way too much time. I don't even want to watch people be angry about stuff that, like, I saw, like, so I'm Christian and I'm seeing, like, pastors angry at each other about stuff. And I'm like, if you guys just sat down in a room, wouldn't this be over? No, it would keep going. Okay. Yeah, it was just, and then it was about stuff that I thought it really doesn't matter. Does it matter? Is it really, some things matter. This stuff doesn't matter. So I think, those are starter points. Then, we're going through a pandemic. People have had isolation and maybe more triggers, and it makes it harder. It makes you more, some people take trauma or hardships and they go and it makes them want to be more themselves. And other people, you hide, you feel more fearful. You don't want to do that, and the idea of getting canceled or, oh my gosh, it's like, it's so crazy to me. So I I think that's why. So here's my number one thing that I'm working on is I'm watching what I pay attention to. So anything that is going to reinforce me not being true to myself, I'm gonna not give it my attention at all. Whether it's people, places, things, whatever, it just won't have my attention. The second thing is I'm gonna make space that is for me focusing on things that will challenge me to be more creative, challenge me to be more myself. And so an example of that would be, hey, reading certain books, or maybe for you, if you're, wanting to do more art, you have time that no matter what, it's just time for you to do art. There's nothing else. It is planned. It's like oxygen. And then the third thing I am working on is like I journal in general, but I'm going to journal more with this concept in mind. Really think about maybe some things that I really was inspired by, when I was a kid. Some of those things are still true. I find that to be very interesting. But just to really kind of hide a little bit from maybe it's similar if a company wants to rebrand, they kind of take a little break, a little hiatus, or they just do the status quo and then they come out with a new idea. And I think that's what I'm going to work on. Just chill a little bit, create that space, and then really think about where I want to go. And then I would say the fourth thing is just I'm like examining everything. So it's what I'm spending my attention on, but examine, even if it's something that I think, yeah, that's fine. It's no, just question it, answer it, find an answer for it. And the answer has to be to the current question. So for example, if you're like, wow, we've been friends for 10 years and they're amazing. Great. Would you be friends with them now? Where are you trying to go? Is this someone you want to take with you? Do they want to go with you? Right? Or, hey, I've been, doing this activity for the last 10 years. Okay, great. Maybe it was good for the last 10 years, but should you continue with it? So it's the perspective, it's attention, but it's also examining my thoughts, why I'm doing things. I think that's important. And I think I'm going to create a priority. I would say the bigger thing from all of this is I'm going to create maybe, 1 to 3 priorities. I'm not sure. And more just like, hey, I'm the type of person that does this. And I'm okay with that. For example, I genuinely like a lot of solitude. So I'm not someone I'm super talkative and I can be very social, but I'm also someone who can enjoy lots of time alone. And, for months, maybe even years, I don't know. I haven't tested out years. And what's wrong with that? So maybe you're someone who really into working out and you're around a group of people who are not into that. Remove yourself. Maybe you're someone who figured out a way to get, a lot of money and you're not in a group of people that understand you anymore. I wouldn't say that you can't be around people. That's not what I think. I think, although sometimes I do think remove them, but I think when you take a break from something and you decide who you are in that break, naturally, if those people are supposed to be in your life, they will continue to be there. They will gravitate to that. They will start to change. I think if they're not meant, their disinterest will grow, and that's good because they're saying, I don't like who you're becoming. Why would you have them there? Why? And then, there's people that I definitely feel like you can maybe none of that matters. It's just, you reduce the frequency and duration on which you see them. And, that's that. But I often find that once you make a goal or an idea or a habit, the habit kind of structures what you can do. And if I am focused on being true to myself, or, as I title this, breaking rules, then why would I want to be around people that are saying, no, you need to keep all those rules. You need to follow them. You're crazy if you don't. Why? At the end of the day, I think it's important to be who we're supposed to be at our next interval in life. And that changes, right? So, maybe when you're 16, you're flipping burgers at Burger King. And when you're 24, you're managing, a 500 unit property. And then when you're 35, let's say you have, I'm assuming you're a woman, so you're a wife with kids, and you own, 20 properties and still manage that. So you're going to have to be a different person as a mom, wife, business owner, and, full-time manager than you would as a manager, than you would as, if you showed up as the same person flipping burgers, the skill grows, but I definitely think you're going to need a little more skilled in burger flipping. You know what I'm saying? I guess you can flip burgers to the top. Most people like burgers, whether it's Beyond, get you a little Beyond, you know what I'm saying? Or you like the real beef. I'm not sure Burger King is serving real beef, but, look, I don't know. So allegedly, I really don't know. I haven't had Burger King in so long. So yeah, who are you? Who are you showing up as? Like, do you still want to be that person, right? And maybe you do. So that's awesome. Then congratulations to you. And I guess that you wasted your time listening to this, but maybe you could help someone else with this. I don't know. Yeah. So I personally, I'm ready to develop and grow and change. And I'm ready to break a couple of rules, the right ones, right? I'm not talking about anything illegal, just to put that out there, because I know some of you guys will say, I heard that podcast. No, that's not what I'm saying. I am not saying that. I have to put disclaimers because I don't know where you're at in your life. So this is for you to really think, and this is more of a way of saying, how are these rules working out? Like, did you end up with the results? Did you end up with the short end of the stick? No stick. You have no stick. They really got you. They really did. And that's what I feel like. It's like, wow, I'm here at this point in life, and what? For what? Like, it's not an unhappiness or ungratefulness, but it's maybe that you're bamboozled. It's more bamboozling, right? For what? Right? All right. So my 20% is figure out what rules in your life that you're following and examine them. Are they working for you in your life, for your kids, friends, whatever? What rules are you following? Maybe you're a people pleaser. Is that working for you? Like, yeah, it's nice to help people sometimes, but sometimes you got to tell people, no, I'm not doing that. Don't you ask me again. No is my favorite word. No. I'm not doing it. Don't ask me again. I'm not going to feel bad about it. How am I going to sleep through the night? Like this. That's how I'm going to sleep. No. It's a no for me. It's a no for me, dog. It's a no. And then, examine these things. I like to journal. Maybe you don't want to journal. I definitely would advise it, but maybe you have another way of keeping tally. Maybe you're really good. You're going to put it in an Excel spreadsheet. Yeah, let me know how that works out. Maybe you're going to put it on Trello board. That's cool. So take time, examine yourself, and really examine the things you do and why you're doing them. And it's like, is that freeing, or are you shrinking yourself? Are you cutting off yourself? Now, I'm going to give one analogy to make sure you're clear on what I'm saying here. And then I'm going to end because I feel like I'm just repeating myself now. So here's when discipline is helpful for you. When you're disciplined and maybe you know, like, hey, I'm going to get 12 cups of water in today, and I'm going to make sure I work out, and I'm going to make sure I get, whatever, 7 hours of sleep. And like, that's discipline. I'm going to stop eating before 8. That's a discipline that I think those are rules that maybe inside you don't always want to follow them, but the result is there. Maybe, it helps with good health, help with sleep. You have higher cognition or whatever. Like, you're just able to do things at a higher level because you're sleeping, because you're not eating. You're probably healthier because you're not eating super late, and your body can focus on digestion. Like, yeah, like that's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. That's discipline, right? I'm talking about you follow the rules for, let's say, let's just say you follow the rules on, I can't think of, like, let's just use the doctor example since that worked really good. And you went to school, you went, to get a job, you're great at your job, you're well paid, you still don't have your debt paid off. You feel like you're doing a worse job for your patients. During the pandemic, you took a pay cut. I know some doctors took a pay cut. All that, right? You got more hours. It's like, how is that actually working out? So it would be a scenario similar to that. And in your personal life would be, with friends. Like, do your friends understand you, the real you? Or are these friends that you got being the fake you? So you might have to make some adjustments. Maybe like the people-pleasing idea or people-pleasing would be a good one. Or maybe you're just the kind of friend that's not really there enough. So maybe you have to just be honest about what kind of friend you are and ask if that's cool with the crew you roll with. Or maybe your friend, that listens to too much of your friend's business, and you really should cut them off. They should have to figure some things out on their own. They should figure some things out on their own. Like, it's too much. It's too much. Like, what size underwear she wear and what day of the week she wear it. That's too much. I think that's too much. Is that too much? Yeah, it is. But y'all best friends? Well, I guess it's too much. Or maybe creatively, you say, oh, I worked the job they told me to work. I got promoted. I have a great income, and I'm unhappy. Or maybe you're single and you got the job, you got the house, you have this, you have all the things, you got all the things on Instagram. We will envy you, but you don't envy yourself. You're lonely. You're at home by yourself. Can't find nobody to snuggle with you. A dog won't even snuggle with you, y'all. That's hard. A dog. So you did what they said you should do. Maybe your parents told you to do that. Like, you need to go to school, you gotta get your education, you can't be out here dumb, all of that. And then you see the dumb people all booed up. But they dumb. See, it didn't work out. Why didn't it work out? Why? Right? Or, everybody's super, focused on making it, and they do all the things. They follow the rules. They go into the debt. I say debt because a lot of y'all live in debt, like, where it's rough. Like, I'm not talking about where you're a little behind on the bill. I'm talking about where you just, look, if something happened to you, everybody is owed. They're going to come after your mom, your kids. Someone's going to have to pay up. They're going to have to pay up. So yeah, you did these things and you're just not where you want to be. Or creatively, for me, it's more just creatively where I feel like all these algorithms and rules and post this way and do that, it's just like, it's like suffocating. It's really suffocating to me, to be honest, where it feels like, oh my gosh, whatever just happened to like people finding you and you're having an answer for something they need. And I understand, I get it. I get the packaging. It's just exhausting. Like, oh my gosh. And sometimes we're just who we need to be to survive. I get that too. I do. But what if we could create a life where it wasn't just surviving, right? Where you could enjoy who you are, where you didn't have to be that version of yourself. I mean, they're just versions, right? We could put on a different version. Yeah, so did you hear my ice maker? Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm recording in the kitchen because my son is asleep, and there's no way I'm going in that area of the house to record. There's no way. I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. So this is what you get. This is what you get. This is for Kid Mila. All right. All right. So yeah, I'm going to work on this. I'm not sure if I'm going to share it. If I get inspired to share it, I will. But if I don't, well, I don't. That's it. That is all. Hey, before we get started, I need your help. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, review, and share. You really like the show? Want to put your money where your mouth is? Click donate. I would love your support. All right, that's another episode in the books. Hello? Hello? I said it's over. Why are you still listening? Like, seriously, the episode is over. If you're still listening right now, you know what? You're probably a chronic procrastinator. Guess what? I'm still listening too. Come on, for real, seriously. We gotta go do something productive. No, like, for real. No, for real. Okay, you can keep listening.